So we'll see.
But do you think are you still a bit tough fight, but you expect him to stop him?
I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see.
The worrying thing is with Moses' style, he could be landing some serious bombs, sharp bombs that do a lot of damage to Dillian early doors, so he could never get into the fight. So yeah, I think it's stacked against Dillian. I'm not saying that Dillian can't do anything in the fight. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I'm looking at it from the outside in and just looking at how I see both men's stages of careers, the styles.
Done that. There's a difference. And Dillian Whyte for me looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
Heavyweight boxing experts share their predictions for the upcoming clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte. Frank Warren expresses confidence that Moses will come out on top, though he acknowledges it will be a tough battle since Whyte packs a powerful punch. Warren believes Moses has the mental strength to handle the pressure and secure the win. He also emphasizes his personal hope for Moses to triumph, viewing him as the future star of heavyweight boxing.
What is your forecast for this fight?
I think he's going to be in a tough fight. I know he's got the punch power to hurt and stop Dillian Whyte. But I also know that Dillian Whyte also has the punch power to cause damage. And the one thing with Moses at the moment is that's not been tested. So we'll see.
But do you think are you still a bit tough fight, but you expect him to stop him?
I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see. For me, beating him is a big thing.
Right.
However he does it, and I want to see the other side of him as well. I want to see him. I want to see him in a tough 12-round fight where he comes through it and boxes his way through it. He's not a one-trick pony. He can box, but as I say, this is a tough one. This is going to be. This is a fans' fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
That's what it is. It is a fans' fight.
Renowned boxing analyst and commentator Ade Oladipo highlights that Dillian Whyte's recent performances haven't been his strongest. However, he notes a significant transformation leading up to this fight. Training camp updates and released footage reveal a much leaner, sharper, and physically prepared Whyte. His current condition seems close to the peak shape of his career, making him a serious threat to the young and ascending Moses Itauma. Ade suggests this revamped version of Whyte could challenge Moses intensely and push him to his limits inside the ring.
All of a sudden, people have seen the shape that... I saw a video, which I'm guessing you guys have seen as well, of Dillian Whyte hitting the heavy bag and doing a bit of shadow boxing. He looked incredible. Dillian Whyte, me and G-Man did the look back, didn't we? Dillian Whyte versus Chisora. And Dillian Whyte looked in incredible shape there. And I was thinking, if he can get close to that, he's close to that. He's close to that. Dillian Whyte in his last few fights has been around the 260 mark. I think it might have even been heavy for a couple. I think he looks low 250s. And all I can ask from a fighter, this is why I get so pissed off with Martin Bakole, just get in shape. Skill's skill. You're not going to change a fighter from fucking where you are to Muhammad Ali. I'm not asking for that. Just get in shape. Dillian Whyte has ticked that box. And he's like, okay, if you think I'm going over to Saudi Arabia just to get smoked by this 20-year-old, we'll see. That's what I'm taking from the shape I'm seeing him in, because he looks incredible. And also, when he's firing out his jab in that little shadow boxing, his arms are so long. Dillian Whyte, compared to his body structure, he has overly long arms. What I'm getting at is that Dillian Whyte can box a bit as well, He's not just a brawler, he's been tagged as this brawler. He can box a little bit. Is he a better boxer than Moses? No. But that jab could be key. Jab's always key, right? We always talk about it. But one thing I see with Dillian Whyte being in this shape is that he's saying, if I can take this young boy past 6, we're going to go into deep waters that this young boy's never been before. And it's all well and good Moses saying, I'm sparring 10 rounds, I'm sparring 12 rounds. And, I was on TalkSport when he mentioned this yesterday. Fighting 10 rounds is different. Fighting 12 rounds is different. Dillian Whyte's done that. And look, sometimes Dillian Whyte's blown out of his arse. Sometimes Dillian Whyte's been beat in those 12-round fights. But Dillian Whyte has done that. There's a difference. And Dillian Whyte, for me, looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
Lawrence Wee, a former pro boxer turned analyst, praises Moses Itauma's impressive victories and remarkable fights so far. Yet, he points out that none of those wins have been against an opponent with the experience and quality of Dillian Whyte. Moses is still early in his career and lacks the years of elite-level ring experience that Whyte possesses. This gap in experience could heavily influence how the fight unfolds.
No, relax. Moses has been performing under the bright lights, but what I'm saying is, it's still so early and he's got a lot to prove. Up until this point, I can't argue. He's passed every test with flying colours, but the problem is, he's passed so easily, he's missed out on valuable lessons along the way, and he's now got a very experienced veteran in front of him in Dillian Whyte, who's been at world level. Everybody's written Dillian off, but recently, seeing interviews and seeing training footage, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got to be honest, my mind's starting to shift. Let's take a look and discuss the key takeaways.
I don't think I've ever seen you be this big an underdog in a fight. You are like 1-14.
Dev asked Dillian, how does he feel being the underdog?
And that's what makes it dangerous. As an underdog, you're underneath. You get up at them testicles and lock onto them, and it's game over.
It's crazy really because like I said, he's fought at world level, fighting the likes of Povetkin, Fury, Chisora, AJ, Parker, the list goes on. But in sports, you're only as good as your last performance. In Dillian's last fight, he looked terrible, putting it politely.
Has he put something in you? Because like your last few fights,
Pause,
Ebenezer like instilled a fear, not...
No man is putting anything in me. Pause this.
Dillian does make me laugh, dark humour. But maybe that says more about me. He says it the way it is. There's no sugar coating. Dev says, is this the biggest risk he's took in his career? Which again is madness.
All of them has been massive because you think no one's ever had me as a favourite. Think of one fight that was a favourite. Just think.
Dylan's right. He's always the underdog. It's nothing new.
How do you reflect on your fight with Tete?
It was what it was. Listen, I've been walking the long, lonely, dark road for 3 years.
This is the thing, people forget that fighters go through things outside of the ring which affect the performance, but us fans only judge the performance. At the end of the day, fighters are human, they're not robots.
Then that fight for me was asking myself a question, can I take a good walk and push through? Can I force myself to put the jabs in? Can I...
He admits he wasn't in great shape, but that fight for him was about dipping his foot in the water and seeing if he still got it and still wants it.
I had a few injuries and stuff going into the fight, but it's what it was. But that fight reignited the...
Recent training footage shows Dillian Whyte looking exceptional, impressing many who had doubts after his period of inactivity and an underwhelming previous fight. Observers previously questioned his sharpness, but the new clips have changed opinions. He moves with clear intent, throws powerful combinations, and maintains a focused rhythm during drills. His physique appears nearly at peak condition, reminiscent of his 2018 form when he convincingly stopped Lucas Brown. This renewed energy and discipline have reignited hope among his fans, who believe Whyte still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. As he prepares to face the young, fast-rising Moses Itauma, Whyte's progress in training has become a hot topic within the boxing world, raising expectations for a thrilling heavyweight showdown.
That since like late 18, right? I remember him knocking out Lucas Brown. When he knocked out Lucas Brown, he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. He looks similar or better now, which is very impressive. And I think like Terrence Crawford, people are now looking at Dillian Whyte. You know, seeing is believing. You know, when we see results, we start believing in those results. I think now people understand that Dillian Whyte has taken this very seriously. He's been out of the ring for a long time. His last two opponents quit. Tete and Hammer, they both quit. And I think that Dillian, this is his last hurrah. If it's his last hurrah, if it's his last time to shine, he has nothing to lose. Why not go out with a bang? Why not go in the best shape possible? Why not do what you're supposed to do in training camp? Okay, because you can't really predict what happens in that ring except you and that other guy. It's up to you or that other guy. But in training camp, you have a team around you. You have determination, you have motivation, you have discipline more than likely, okay? And I think that Dillian Whyte is looking great, bro. He is looking great. He doesn't have the unbalanced body type like you normally see him. He's too big upper body, legs are small. You know what I mean? He's all off balance because of the imbalance of his body. But I do think that Dillian Whyte will come in to make a splash, and this is how you're supposed to look if you intend on doing it. I love the way he looks. He looks great. He looks in shape. He looks like he's ready for a battle. That's what it's about.
Boxing fans and media analysts widely agree that immense pressure is weighing on Moses Itauma as he approaches this fight. Many believe that unless he decisively defeats Dillian Whyte, his previous accomplishments may lose their luster in the eyes of the boxing community. In boxing, reputations can shift dramatically overnight, with supporters quick to judge based on a single performance. A lackluster or narrow victory would not satisfy those who have hailed him as a future star and could cast doubt on his readiness to face the division's elite. Moses is therefore fighting for more than just a win. He is battling to protect the reputation he has painstakingly built and to preserve the momentum that has propelled his seemingly unstoppable ascent through the heavyweight ranks.
So much pressure now on this young man's shoulders. Like, if he doesn't look spectacular against Dillian Whyte, all of a sudden people are like, that's how fickle boxing fans are. We're so fucking fickle. If he doesn't look great against Dillian Whyte, we'll be like, he's almost got to ice Dillian Whyte for everyone to say, yeah, he's the king. You know what I mean? For him to continue that trajectory, because he is like a fucking rocket ship at the moment. Going on the eye test, I think he has absolutely everything. Going on what people tell me about him, I think he has absolutely everything. Like, I hear the sparring stories. Guys, there is so much I could share on this channel that I don't. So much. But I hear the sparring stories. I know who he's hurt. I know who he's wobbled. I know all those things. And he's a bad man. Honestly, he's a bad man. I look at him, it's funny. I don't feel like I'm interviewing a 20-year-old. Do you know what I mean? He just is a man, isn't he? But yet he's a kid. And being a kid isn't a bad thing in the sport of boxing, because there is that kind of fearlessness, like this youthful exuberance, speed. You're not damaged goods. You haven't been through the trenches. The politics of boxing hasn't made you fall out of love with the sport yet. So as much as people say he lacks experience, sometimes lacking experience in those things I've just mentioned can't be too bad.
Anthony Yarde, a British light heavyweight contender, has believed in Moses Itauma's greatness since the very beginning, even when Moses was just 18 years old. Yarde recognizes qualities in Moses that indicate future dominance in the heavyweight division and is confident that Moses has what it takes to become the next major champion. His conviction stems from both witnessing Moses in the ring and understanding the mindset needed to excel at the highest level.
Moses Itauma, his first headline event, takes on the body snatcher Dillian Whyte. You first on this. How good is Moses? I mean, you must hear the stories that everyone seems to hear about the sparring and all that. How good is Moses when you're watching him?
I've seen Moses, and I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. This guy, he's it.
He's it.
He is it. He is it. This is my opinion. It's boxing. I know it's pressure and all these kind of things or whatever, but he's it.
Why?
He's got skill set, fast hands, footwork. From what I've seen, he's got a chin. Not that you need to be getting hit with these wild shots, because clearly you've done something wrong if you got hit. Good jab, you know. For me, in my opinion, he's it.
Dave Caldwell, a British boxing trainer and pundit, asserts that Moses Itauma's fighting style is perfectly designed to trouble Dillian Whyte. He emphasizes Moses's combination of speed, accuracy, and aggression, traits that can be particularly dangerous against a fighter who has taken substantial damage over the years. Caldwell warns that at this point in Whyte's career, he must exercise extreme caution because Moses possesses the skills to inflict significant harm if given the chance. Meanwhile, a member of Whyte's training camp acknowledges the serious challenge Moses poses as a young, energetic fighter. They admit that if Whyte attacks too aggressively early on, it could play into Moses's hands and create unnecessary risks. Their strategy is to make Moses work hard from the outset, limiting openings and forcing him into uncomfortable situations that drain his energy.
We've not really seen him, and that's where his weakness could be.
Of course. I mean, if you try to go out there and blast him out, you playing into his hands, because he's young, he's fast, and he can punch. So sometimes you gotta walk him down.
You've been part of the Dillian Whyte team now. Dillian Whyte joined you, right? He left Mark Tibbs and said, okay, I need Buddy McGirt. You've been part of the team for a while. Do you have any say on the opponent? Now, does he come to you, for example, and say, look, okay, this is what we want to do, and then you can kind of give him guidance? Or is it a case of, this is the opponent, get me ready for this opponent, buddy?
Well, you know, it's like this. In a situation like this, when they come to you, you know, he said to me, listen, buddy, this is what they're putting on the table for me. I said, so what do you want to do? I mean, I don't want to say, yeah, and you're not feeling it. You know, I want to see what you're feeling. And he goes, I got to go for it. So, all right, let's go. You know, we're a team. So if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I mean, if we got to go through this hailstorm to get to the other side of the we got to do what we got to do.
Buddy, I saw something the other day, and I don't believe you. I want to pull you up on it. I think I saw that you said you haven't seen Moses box before, and you don't watch your opponent's box. But I don't believe you, buddy. I don't believe you.
I swear to you, I will not lie to you.
By dragging the fight into the later rounds, Whyte's camp believes that the increasing pace and physical toll will begin to work in his favor. His experience, ring savvy, and adaptability could enable him to seize control as the bout progresses. This cautious strategy, they argue, offers Whyte the best chance to counter Moses' youthful vigor and gradually shift momentum his way. Whyte's former trainer, who has guided him through many tough battles and major events, admits feeling uneasy about the upcoming clash. While recognizing the strong financial incentive and potential career benefits for Whyte, he warns that Moses Itauma brings a potent combination of youthful energy, sharp skills, and relentless drive. These traits often lead to unpredictable moments in the ring, especially when matched against a fighter with something significant to prove. The trainer emphasizes that although experience favors Whyte, facing a motivated young challenger requires heightened preparation. This isn't a fight where complacency can creep in. Any mistake could prove costly. To him, the risk is very real.
To be fair, like, I had 11 fights with Dillian. We got to world #1, and so I know Dillian really, really well. I don't like that fight for him. I never thought it'd be a step up for someone. He won't like me saying that. It's just my emotional investment that was in him. But you know, he's done very well, Dillian, and he deserves a big payday. I'm sure. I'm hoping he's getting that. Listen, he's got the experience to upset the apple cart, Dillian. He has, but what's his name? Who's he fighting?
Moses Itauma.
Moses, I beg your pardon. Moses is a serious, responsive operator, and man can pick his punches well. So, yeah, obviously Moses is the favourite for me in that fight. But you know, I like to see someone like Dillian with that art and that mindset and his character. You know, I like Dillian.
Moses Itauma speaks with unwavering confidence, making it clear he considers himself a cut above the rest of the boxing world. He boldly claims his skill set and fight IQ are unmatched, going as far as to say his technical prowess and ring intelligence surpass even those of Alexander Usyk. Such declarations reveal the depth of his self-belief and the fearless mentality he brings to every contest. For Itauma, this bout is more than just another career milestone. It's an opportunity to prove he can outclass anyone who steps in the ring against him. He enters the fight not just as a rising star, but as a fighter convinced he is destined to join the ranks of the greats.
You must have a view of what level you're at now.
If you want my honest opinion, I think if my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best in the world, but I haven't displayed the later rounds. That's all what I kind of want to get ticked off. So my next opponent or opponents this year, we're just looking at fights to kind of get me into that later round, because I feel like with Usyk, I feel like I've got a better skill set than him, but I feel like towards the later rounds, he'll just outdo me because I've never been in that sort of fight.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned, and until next time.